ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Shot from the Point Dead. A very, very, very special Shot from the Point Dead because we have the very articulate, the very well-spoken Englishman, Colossal the Clown. And if I have to give you a little background on Colossal the Clown, Colossal is crazy. I apologize. I'm nervous. My first big-time interview, Colossal. And you're half in the bag.
This is my first fucking interview, to be honest, and I'm halfway drunk, as I said on Twitter, so I'm probably going to make a complete tit of myself, but, let's go for it.
You came for the right damn place, let me tell you. You should see my last broadcast. And listen, Colossal is a critic, a well-known critic on YouTube, a rising star on YouTube. He's very famous for making videos about Lion Maker, TJ, the Amazing Atheist. Most recently, let me give you a little sample of what Colossal does. And yeah, here we go.
Well, let me take this one of two twin brothers spitting water in each other's faces. Every video seemed to be much like them, genetically identical in almost every way. So, why are there just so fucking many of them? Well, it's because there's no challenge in uploading a challenge. In fact, the real challenge is to find a challenge that will challenge anyone that isn't mentally challenged.
45,000 likes, let's smash it, man.
Colossal, I thank the Lord in heaven that there's people like you to correct people like that. You know that. That's
I thank myself too every day. These fucking videos. People criticize, me calling out people for bullying, and people call it cyberbullying. But it's cancer. You've got to talk about the fucking cancer.
Absolutely.
And this shit is fucking cancer.
Absolutely. But the thing that gets me is I don't think it's bullying. I don't think it's harassing. If you were going to a club and you were a comic and you did similar
Right.
acts about famous YouTubers, celebrities, how is it because when you're a YouTuber, and we're going to get into the change of policy at the towards the end of the show, the YouTube TOS, how is this somehow harassment if somebody cuts a video on me or vice versa? I can see taking a child and that gets an atomic wedgie in high school and then posting that up. That's a little different. But what you're doing is you're taking public figures and you're criticizing their work. I do not see how that falls under harassment, but we're going to find out very shortly. Listen, I don't know why, because I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm probably emotionally about 17. This is my favorite bit you do. This particular scene.
As challenges go, the Touch My Body challenge is about as low as it gets.
What's up, guys? Huffman here, and I'm here with Amber
Marie.
Amber Marie.
You forgot my shit.
What?
Is your name? You forgot my Instagram. Amber Marie.
No, yeah, well, I'm saying your friggin' name.
Would you like to know why he doesn't even know her fucking name? Well, it's in fact because she's a backpage hooker he has paid to do this with. Her name is Amber Marie, and if that isn't sufficient enough evidence for you, just fucking look at what she's wearing. 1 millimeter more, and you would see her fucking snatch.
I don't know why I find that so funny. And you would see her fucking snatch. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know why I find that funny. I guess
The thing is, with this fucking guy, right, he was literally, okay, she's not a backpage hooker. This was a bit of an exaggeration, for comedic purposes. But he's literally hired this fucking hooer to make these bloody videos. Like, he literally can't find a fucking girl on the street. Doesn't have a girlfriend. He's just paying people to do these fucking videos. It's unbelievable.
Why do you find that so offensive? If I had a bunch of broads behind me right now, like, I don't know, getting me drinks and, I could see their boobies. I live in Germany, so I want those big Bavarian boobies. What's wrong with that? Right. Why do you find that so offensive, Colossal?
I don't find the boobies offensive. I quite like the boobies. I don't like calling them boobies so much, but I don't know why I said that, but it's the fact that this fucking guy has to pay people to make these clickbait videos.
It just bothers you.
It bothers me that. Yeah, it does bother me. Not like massively, like I just kind of want to make fun of it. So I'm like kind of pretending that it bothers me, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
But yeah, I just can't believe that this fucking guy has to pay people to make clickbait videos. The ironic thing is, this particular video only got about 100,000 views, which is quite rare for a Touch My Body challenge, because normally they're like 1 million, fucking 2 million views.
Oh, Jesus.
This video only got 100,000 views, so that's what, like $100 to $150.
So he paid for it.
He actually took a fucking loss making this video. That was the amazing thing. And this isn't the only fucking woman he's done it with. He's done it with multiple women, and they're all the same, all scantily clad fucking hooers, like no brain cells. They're just there to basically almost show their pussy. And that particular video was very interesting because it was, for me, the closest I've ever seen to porn. Now, I know there's some like educational porn on YouTube. Well, that shit doesn't fucking count. Sure. This was the closest to porn because it was literally 1 fucking inch away from seeing her pussy. And if she hadn't been fucking shaved, then you would have seen Muff. You would have seen Muff. Genuinely.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
Fantastic.
I'm not a big fan of these challenges either, but I feel weird criticizing, a millimeter away from snatch. It's just, it feels very unnatural to me. But I do get where you're coming from, if you know where I'm coming from.
Look, the thing is, who are the people, who's the main demographic of YouTube? Well, it's these kind of like, I don't want to say kids, but it's probably people between the ages of 14 to, let's say, 19. And that's a complete guess. I have no figures to back this up. Mm-hmm. And these are the type of videos that people are watching. Why are they watching them on YouTube? Why? When Pornhub is, literally around the fucking corner. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you think...
Like, you see a clickbait... I don't know why clickbait titles work so well. People see, that thumbnail he used of her, 1 millimeter away from her fucking pussy. And people clicked on it. Well, why don't you just go to fucking Pornhub if you want to see that shit? I don't understand it.
Do you think, I don't know how familiar you are with Howard Stern, but Howard Stern switched from terrestrial radio to a private radio or satellite radio where you could say the F word, sort of like YouTube. I always thought that he lost something a little because he had to walk up right to the door of breaking FCC rules. And when he was able to cross it without thinking of it, I thought it lost something. So do you think, we have this rule set on YouTube that it's just a little more titillating just to know that we're walking right up to the line of the rules, right up to the line of a banishment off of YouTube? Do you think that has anything to do with it?
It's an interesting point, and I'll explain why. The way I see comedy, right? I want to get away with as much as I can get away with without, getting into trouble for it. So this is why I spend quite a lot of time on my videos doing this, because I want to get as close to that fucking invisible line as I can get. And everybody's line is different, right? It's the metaphorical fucking line. And for every single person, every single individual, it's completely different. And my goal is to get as close to that fucking line, my line, as possible. Now, I like to think I have a pretty good fucking line, but I'm obviously very biased. And some people it's shorter, some people it's longer, but for me, I want to get as close to that as possible. If I go over the fucking line, then I'm going to get criticism for that. If I don't go far enough, I'm going to get criticism for that. It's not the criticism I'm worried about. I want to get close to that fucking line because that's fucking entertainment. That's fucking entertainment. And I can sit here and criticize YouTubers all day for either not getting close enough to that fucking line or going way the fuck over it. Most YouTubers, big YouTubers, don't go far enough because they feel that they don't want to risk their fucking channel.
Sure.
It's the smaller channels that take the big risks. And some of them go too far. There's not too many of them, but some of them go too far. I would give you names, but I'm not going to stab anyone in the back at the moment. I'm trying not to. But yeah.
I'd like to talk about. I'd actually like to talk about some of your background, or at least as much. I know you do keep your privacy very private.
I will answer questions I'm comfortable asking with.
Well, I tell you what, and feel free to reject any question.
Sure.
I don't think I put anything down here that will do that, but I will not be offended. I completely understand. Besides your voice being a dead giveaway, where did you grow up in this planet of ours?
I was born somewhere in Oxfordshire, and when I was about 5 years old, I moved to the county of Worcestershire, and I grew up there, and I went to a boarding school fairly nearby, and then when I was 18, I went to university for a year in Bath, which is Bath University, and I dropped out after a year because I went to study psychology, and I very quickly realized that psychology was what I like to call a Mickey Mouse subject. And if you think about that particular phrase, it makes quite a lot of sense, and I'm sure you can work it out.
Yeah, soft
It's
science.
basically a joke. It's a fucking joke.
It's a soft science at best.
They don't teach you anything you don't already know. And so that's why I dropped out after a year. And I went to work for, my father offered me a job. So I'd like to thank him very much. I've still got that job today. And basically my job is, well, my company rather, is to import and wholesale children's toys and stationery. So basically, I will go to China and buy various products over there, and then I will ship them back over here in the UK and sell them to, well, pretty much anyone who wants to buy them, who can buy them in the specific quantities that, I would like them to buy them in. We do a little bit of export, about 15% is export, but most of it sold here in the UK. We have several licensed brands, but most are just generic items. And what can I say about the job? It's fun. But it's mundane. It's not challenging. It's just not challenging. I see it as a way, my livelihood, obviously. But it's literally that. I only do it for money. I am only doing the current job I'm doing, which is selling toys, for money. I've got no aspirations to further the company, to try harder at it, which is disappointing. And this is part of the reason why I started a YouTube channel. The main reason was I was fucking bored. Like, I needed something to do. I needed a hobby. And obviously I have other hobbies as well. I can talk about them as well. But yeah, I needed a hobby. YouTube was a good outlet. So I started making a YouTube channel because I wanted to challenge myself creatively. Because my job just didn't give me that at all, and still doesn't. And basically, I work pretty much 7 days a week. Because it's a family company, I'm very involved in the managerial side of it. So it's non-stop, 7 days a week. But I have a lot of freedom with it. So if I want to take a day off, I don't have to tell anyone. I just take a fucking day off. If I want to be fucking lazy, I'm just lazy. As long as the figures are there, I'm absolutely fine. And because I'm reporting to my father, I can wheedle my way out of certain situations and shit like that. So it's a beneficial position.
You're quite blessed. You have a very.
I appreciate. I have been fortunate in some aspects of my life, and I know I was speaking to you a bit earlier, and I know we come from somewhat different backgrounds, but. Yes, my upbringing was very middle class, I would say, and I have been fortunate. I don't want to say white male privilege or use terms like that, but I have been fortunate. I did go to private school. I did have, the best education money could afford. I felt like I wasted most of it, and as my father will remind me, yeah, I did fucking waste a lot of it, but I did have the best education. I did get a job straight out of university after dropping out. So I've never had to look for a job. I've never been homeless or on the street, or never had to worry about money to a huge extent. I've always been able to satisfy myself creatively. I've always had hobbies. I've never once in my life, and this is absolutely true, been depressed. I've been sad and down, but I've never once been depressed, ever. I've never taken drugs. I don't drink too often. I have drunk quite a lot today. I will be honest, but I don't drink too often. I do smoke, and I have smoked since I was about, I think, 14 or 15. I can't remember. Trying to quit, but yeah, I do smoke quite a lot. I'm down to about 15 a day.
I got a tough question for you. Do you think that lack
Sure.
of depression, or ever being sad, gives you? It makes it a little difficult for you to connect with the. Maybe some other folks. I haven't experienced that personally, but maybe it also gives you the ability to criticize as sharply and as comically as you do.
To a certain extent, yes. But I have 3 brothers, all younger, and one of them has severely suffered from depression in the past, and at one point he was suicidal. So obviously it was a big blow, and I saw a lot of, the pain that he was going through, and I sympathized. And I like to think, and this is not me tooting my own horn, because I'm trying not to do that, but I like to think that I was the one that kind of stopped him from doing anything. I was the one that kind of stopped him feeling depressed, and he's doing fucking great now.
Did you do it through laughs?
We had one conversation. We were in Spain on holiday, just me and him, and we had one conversation one night. It's probably, I say night. It was probably about 2 to 3 in the morning, and he was obviously very, very, very down. Obviously going through a lot of shit. We had one conversation. It probably lasted 6 hours, something like that, something crazy. And during that conversation, I fixed him. I fixed him. And the next day, he was a completely different person. He was a completely different person. And for me, that was one of my greatest achievements, I think, was fixing someone like that. I don't want to say fix. Fixing is a bad word. But I was able to convince him to be a completely different person. And he obviously, like I said, he's doing fucking great now.
If you don't mind me asking,
and
did you do it
very
through,
happy. And,
did you do it through your comedy? Did you do it through laughs? Or was it some of your training for psychology?
I did. I'm not just saying that for the sake of the podcast, but I did. Half of it was comedy, and the other half was very, very harsh criticism. Very harsh. I said things to him that I would be very hesitant to say to anyone else. And it was so brutal, it was so real, that he had to take note of it. And he realized that he was fucking up. And he changed his way, literally overnight.
He's doing great.
And subconsciously, I think I've applied that to YouTube, subconsciously.
That's fantastic.
Because my videos are for comedic purposes. That is the main objective. That is the primary objective.
I was going to ask you if you ever did a club. I was going to ask you if you have actually ever done a club. You seem like this is a little more than a hobby, that you may have some background in this, or did you just pick it up and go?
A background in what sense?
In comedy and theater. Do you have
when I was growing up, I was very involved in theatre, mostly Shakespearean theatre. And obviously, two of my brothers are actors, professional actors. That's what they do for a living. Obviously, not famous or anything like that. And they will be in plays. Like my brother, who I'm just talking about now, is currently in a play, Taming of the Shrew, which is a Shakespearean play.
I'm not that much of a bumpkin. I know what Taming of the Shrew is. Come on, Klaus, give me a break.
Sorry, no, I'm explaining for anyone who doesn't know. Anyone who doesn't know.
Okay.
Don't mean to be condescending.
I'm just
Yes, so yes, I did have some background in theatre work, and also very much for speech, what we called speech and drama, and it was mostly reading poems and reading short stories in front of a live audience. And from the ages of around probably 8, 9 years old, all the way up to about 18, I not every year, because we'd have this big competition once a year, but I would like to say 60 to 70% of all those competitions I won. I came first place. I won awards across counties for some of this speech and drama work. These speeches, these reading aloud poems, and I always had a knack for that. I always got told I was good at it, so of course I pursued it. And in fact, I read my first full story, when I was 10 years old, and that's actually, I put a clip of it on my SoundCloud. Maybe we can link that in the description later.
Absolutely.
But literally, I was 10 years old, and I read Holes by Louis Sachar, which is my favorite book at the time. And yeah, I read the entire thing front to cover. It's incredibly cringe, and obviously my voice is high-pitched and squeaky, but you can tell it's me still. But yes, that was my first encounter with a podcast, with a audiobook, with what I do now. So it's interesting that, you know, I've carried that on up until today, really.
I am getting inundated with phone calls, even though I haven't presented the numbers. And folks, we will take your phone calls. Colossal has agreed to take that. But I got to go over and shut my phone off. I know this is really unprofessional, but I'm not a professional. Hang on a second. I got to shut my phone off. Keep them talking. What the fuck is this thing? You're drunk. I'm unprofessional. I say fuck it. But I'm getting inundated with phone calls for Rob because you're such a celebrity.
That's all right.
That goes into.
I don't think anybody cares.
Oh,
we're not taking this too seriously.
I'm not
We've
taking.
had it's taken a serious twist.
Yes,
but
it has.
I'm not taking it too seriously. Like, I'm literally sitting in my fucking kitchen. You know.
It's quite Shakespearean.
Beer in hand.
It's
There's
tragic.
fucking echoes everywhere. So I'm not taking it too seriously. I wouldn't worry about it.
It's tragic. It's very Shakespearean. It's much like your family's background. It's tragic, and it's there's a few laughs in there. So I'll take it. That gets into your you're probably your biggest seller. Something comes very naturally to you. Your voice. Now I could see where somebody from the UK, they would probably know where you're from, but it is. God, I mean, I almost could describe it as, it's probably not the right word, but it's almost profound in a way. But to see that very profound and serious voice say "fuck" and "look at her snatch," and I think that's what makes your video so great. It's funny.
It's an interesting parallel, isn't it? Because you think I would be, you know, going off on a spiel about, you know, well, I just said the word fucking spiel, like a Shakespearean fucking rant of some kind, but then I say the word fuck in a sentence. So it's kind of, I think that's why people like it, is the kind of like, what's the right word? There's two sides to it, like two parallels. You don't expect one or the other. You don't expect the two to go hand in hand. I think that's what makes it
Funny.
Dynamic.
Yeah, it
and
makes it
not unique, but somewhat unique.
Yeah, it's just, it's funny. I mean, I'm expecting, I was expecting to go to psychology class or something, and then, you know, you hear this very prim and proper English law, and then, you know, he's pointing out these two dopes spitting water at each other, or trashing the amazing atheist.
That's it.
But did you? I'll ask you right now. I know the answer to this. Is your voice a bit of a work? Do you put it on a little bit for the videos? Do you talk like this naturally?
Definitely do. I do exaggerate it, obviously. Not massively, because I think if you over-exaggerate it too much, then I think it loses some of its value. But yes, I do exaggerate it.
You do exaggerate. But I have to tell the audience.
It right now. I'm exaggerating it right now.
But I have to tell the audience, I hate to disappoint you, it's not exaggerated as much as one might think. Talking to you offline, you do sound
very, very subtly.
Yes.
Very subtle.
Yes, it's. I mean, it's a little. I don't know the right words, like broken up, but it's still very dignified nonetheless. It's very good. Let me get on some other stuff. You started off with troll videos, and you moved into comedic criticism. Was there any reason for that change, or it was just kind of a natural progression what you're doing on YouTube?
Yes, there was a definite reason. Basically, the trolling community is completely and utterly fucked. Totally. I loved making these videos. I loved communicating with people online, because when I troll someone, my aim was not only to troll them, but to make them laugh as well. I think that's what trolling was to me. And actually, as it turned out, the people that I were trolling in the videos, where you can go back and see them, I would end up like online friends with. So these people that I was criticizing, coming at, you know, very critically, I ended up friends with these people, you know, and that was always the best part of it for me. But the problem with the trolling community was, and still is, there's a multitude of reasons. But as of right now, most of the popular trolling videos you will find on YouTube are entirely fake, totally staged.
Totally.
They are actors The people being trolled are actors.
Why would you need to do that? I mean, I've done these troller videos very lightly on H1Z1. Why would you even need to do something like that? I mean,
For the dynamic scenario. For the dynamic scenario. If you can stage that scenario, I'd like to say if you can make it real, none of them are fucking sounding real, you know? If you can make it sound real and put yourself with those really, really interesting fucking trolling scenarios and you've got it all scripted so you know exactly what to say, then it can be very, very entertaining. But it's fake. It's in the same vein as prank videos. Directly similar. The best fucking pranks, and as Sam Pepper once said in that video, he started faking pranks because he could make the pranks themselves more interesting. And they were much easier to do because imagine you're trolling on Call of Duty, wherever, and you're looking to find the right target, you're saying stuff, and some of the stuff you're saying doesn't work out, or the victim just mutes you, or he just blocks you or goes offline. You have to spend so much fucking time finding that right moment. And as any troll will tell you, it takes a lot of effort, it's very time consuming. It's just total pot luck. So when you can create your own scenario, of course, people took advantage of that. They saw what was happening with pranks and the trolls on YouTube, Call of Duty trolling, not just Call of Duty trolling. They took advantage of it. And you will find most of the famous trolls, the big trolls out there, are 100% fake. And it's not the only reason. It's not the only reason. I find that I've always had a problem with this from the beginning, but I was still involved in the community. Trolling children is 100% wrong. And I fucking despise people that will go into a Minecraft server and destroy some poor little kid's building and make him cry, make him scream, and then fucking record it and put it on YouTube. That is sick to me.
No, it absolutely
is. And that comprises at least 40% of the trolling community. It's morally wrong. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. And who was promoting these channels? And who's promoting these channels? Community channels. Now, I don't know. Are you familiar with community channels?
No, not at all. I'm actually not. Maybe perhaps you could explain it.
I will try to explain as briefly as I can because it's quite complicated. But not complicated, but in depth. Basically, what community channels do is they will take your work. You will send them your video. They get full rights to it. They will put it on their channel and monetize it and put your link in the description. So they are making money from your video, your hard work, but you will get some sort of promotion from having that link in their description. And there's so many problems wrong with that.
I see.
Because these community channels can pick and choose. Not only can they pick and choose who they want, and by the way, they weren't picking trolling videos based on the quality of their content. They were picking them because they were friends, in inverted commas, with these people. I believe, and I haven't got proof to this, but I believe that certain YouTubers were even paying these community channels to promote their video, to show their video. I haven't got proof of that. I'd love to have proof of that. But yeah, I feel that these channels were paying community channels to show their video. So not only were these community channels making views and money off these videos that they didn't even make, all they had to do was upload someone else's video. They were getting little handouts from these people to promote their video. And what did you get in return? Well, the biggest channel at the time, and I don't want to mention the channel name because it's a potential backstab, but the biggest channel at the time was probably only getting the channel per video, maybe 5,000 subscribers. The biggest one at the time, which is probably around 3 million. 3 million subscribers.
That's a lot.
And it was probably only getting that channel 5,000 subscribers from that video. And in turn, the video was getting 400 to 500,000 views, or $500 to $600. not a very fair payoff, I
No,
would say.
I would agree with
And
you.
because these community channels were able to upload every single fucking day, multiple times a day, they were getting the algorithm working for them. And they were getting their content promoted, not their content, other people's content promoted. And of course, what happens there is that when you type in the search trolling, I mean, anyone in the chat, right? I'm not looking at the chat, but anyone in the chat can do this right now. Type in Call of Duty trolling, and I guarantee you the first fucking video that comes up will not be by an original channel. It will be from a community channel. They have monopolized the entire fucking genre.
Are you
And
looking
that's
to make
why
are you looking to make a future video on something like this? Because this is something I wasn't terribly aware of.
I have thought about it. I have thought about it, but I keep getting more info, and then I'd like to get more info on that info, and it's a never-ending fucking cycle. I'd love to have one video where I just have all that fucking information in one like big lump, and I can just totally destroy these fucking community channels which I have despised for so long. Some are better than others. Some are better than others. Some are actually making an active effort to make the exchange, if you like, fair. And there are others like, well, I'm going to say his fucking name, Minnesota Burns and Trollark,
Okay.
who don't give a fuck. And that, by the way, Minnesota Burns and Trollark are both owned. They're some of the two biggest community channels. They're both owned by the same person, Minnesota Burns himself, who was a troll back in the day. He's got in a lot of trouble for various shit. But then he left YouTube and turned, not only having a community channel of his own, he turned his own fucking personal channel into a community channel. So he's actually currently got two fucking community channels that have almost an entire monopoly on the trolling genre, and they're moving into other fucking genres, pranks, other shit, and, well, potentially, I see community channels as a huge problem with YouTube. I know I said that like a year ago, and, well, they haven't really moved into other genres. But if you could start, if you or I could start a community channel on Let's Plays or even commentaries, which seem to be very popular at the moment, tomorrow, you know, we could potentially monopolize a whole entire genre of content within the space of 7 to 8 months.
I was not familiar with any of this stuff. I'm gonna definitely, and I really actually, I would really encourage you to make a video about it. I do.
I would love to, but I keep getting more information, and then I want to explore that more.
You want to get it out. Well, hey, look, I don't care if it takes a year. Get that right, because I'm not. I'm going to look into this myself. I wasn't even mildly aware of it. But
it's interesting. It is interesting.
It is. As somebody said that I have the setup here in the chat, and I look like a conspiracy theorist. You know what? And we probably sounded it for the last 5 minutes, to be honest with you. Alex Jones coming at you.
I'd love to go into more detail, but it's such a huge topic, and I don't think I can give off that entire spiel off the top of my head because it's so detailed and crazy. That I'd have to like sit down and like make bullet points just to cover every point.
You're very passionate about YouTube. You want it to work a certain way or not work a certain way. I gather that by your videos and what you said today.
I am passionate about it because like this is my hobby. It's always going to be a hobby to me. I think, you know, obviously I'd love to make a living off of it, but obviously I can't do it at the moment. But
100,000 subs.
I'm passionate about it. Like if your hobby is tennis, like you're very passionate about. Well, no, better example, hockey. I mean, this is a podcast all about hockey. So I'm sure you're very passionate about hockey because that's your main hobby. That's what you talk about all the time. So when a player fucks up or a team makes a bad decision, you know, you want to talk about it. You get passionate about it. I think that's the same for YouTube. With me, it's my main hobby.
It's your sport, I guess.
It's my sport.
It's your sport. I get you. There's no reason to be so passionate about it, but you just are because, I don't know, it's the human condition. We have to be passionate about things that are probably not all that important at the end of the day. And I'm the same way with hockey. You're absolutely right. Your favorite video that you have done so far, you have just crossed 100,000 subs. Congratulations, it's a fantastic accomplishment. But you've done it amazingly, and I think your first video was in 2014. It was a psychologist trolling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos, 100,000 subs. That's an incredible accomplishment. Out of all these videos, what is your favorite?
Lion Maker,
Yeah, and
by far.
I have a question in the can about Lion Maker, and the Lion Maker, it's very much like your other comedic criticisms. And it's hysterical. It's fun. I love the way you mix Keem. I love the way it was. You take a horrible subject, and you kind of turn it something to grin at in a tasteful manner. But at the end, and you recorded this. You did this. You kind of your voice changed. And you got extremely passionate, extremely angry, and Clown, you don't strike me as the censorship type. It's the last thing you would want. You want this guy. I could really feel you want this guy's YouTube channel down. You do realize that there's probably not enough evidence to convict him in court, but this really sets you. And I really encourage everybody to listen to it. It's like heart pumping how emotional you got in this particular video.
I remember doing that last part. It was all in one take. I did that last part, and it wasn't scripted, but I had cue cards, and I think I had about 3 cue cards with everything I wanted to say, and I finished recording it, and I just like there was like a lump in my throat after saying it.
I imagine.
I was like, "Fuck, I'm using that shit." I don't care. Really? I listened back to it. And I was like, I don't care if I fucking stuttered. I don't care if I said a word wrong. I am fucking using that.
Yes.
Right. And fortunately, I didn't stutter like I just did then. So yeah, it was really good, and that's my favorite part of the video as well, by the way.
Oh, well, because I picked up on that. I was really moved by it because I'm mostly laughing, and I was like, boy, this is,
Yeah, it just suddenly changed, and I didn't. 100%. Obviously, I wanted to end on a serious note.
Sure.
But I didn't 100% intend it to be that way.
There's very few channels, I think, that should be canceled or gotten off YouTube, and I detest the attacks on other channels simply for reasons of content, and we could argue it all day, but I cannot argue with you at all. I mean, I do think this guy is, if for no other reason, to keep him away from children, because this is what predators do. They set up an environment. When I was a kid, it was just a Nintendo. This way, they can reach kids from all over the world, and it's really funny. And I want to get into this next. That YouTube made a very serious terms of service change, and a lot of people are pointing the finger directly at you. That you fall under the last, where harassing other YouTubers and their content will actually affect you. Now, I mean, look, this is a very vague statement, but from what I'm seeing, what you do is fair use of other videos. I don't find this to be harassment, and it's not like you're making 20 videos. Something like what Lion Maker's doing, or even like what kids do on a smaller level, like in a Colorado high school or something like that, where they abuse somebody and they upload it. I would think something like that's something that they would take care of. And since YouTube is selectively enforced, what they find, what gets you a strike, what gets you to lose your channel, I think there's a lot of reason to be worried. And I do think it will be selectively enforced to people they don't like rather than actually cleaning up YouTube. But I really wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
It's a fucking huge subject. It's massive, right? But I guess it all falls down to, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
The terms of service are so confusing. They're so vague.
Deliberate. I feel like that's deliberate. So they
no idea what they're fucking talking about.
I feel like it's deliberate because they want to be able to basically knock off people that they don't particularly like. I talked to you offline, and I know you kind of dismissed it, but I guarantee you the first people that will feel the wrath of this change is not going to be you. It's not going to be. It probably won't be Lion Maker or Leafy or anything else. I think they're going to go after political speech. That's my biggest fear. I feel like possibly Miley Yiannopoulos, your friend, the Amazing Atheist, Thunderfoot. I think those are going to be the first targets, which is even more frightening because that's political speech. That's the essence of the idea of Western free speech. That's where I see it. I wanted to put it to you, maybe because you're drunk now and you might agree with me. Do you think there's any validity to that? And do you find that frightening?
I do not think you're right.
Okay.
Right. And the reason I'm going to give is because of the last point that they added, which they added yesterday. I'd like to bring up that exact point, but I've got to find a link. Can we find a link of the new terms and service?
I got it like 30 times, but it's so down by my. It's the last one that's the only one that's significant, and it's harassing other YouTubers and something. I think maybe even the word content.
Right.
At
That's
Tommy
it.
C SFTP, if you want to fire it to me on at Tommy C SFTP on Twitter, and then I could probably even put it up on the screen here if you guys would be a big hand, because otherwise I'm going to be searching, and that's even more unacceptable than turning my phone off in the middle of a broadcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would appreciate that.
I guess the key point was that harassment of other YouTubers. Now, if you're saying they're going after political type YouTubers,
I think that will be their first target. That's my prediction, I should say.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, if that prediction was true, why would they include that last point? Harassing other YouTubers. It's got nothing to do with that YouTuber being political.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's to stop people like Leafy's Hair, myself, Drama Alert, all those people. We fall under this scrutiny. And I know a lot of people are saying, obviously I'm friends with Leafy, so I don't want to say too much, but people are saying, Leafy's Hair is going down. Everyone's pointing the finger at Leafy. It's Leafy's Hair is going down. Well, sorry to break it to everyone, but if Leafy goes down, I'm going down. Because what Leafy says and what I say much worse things.
I disagree
much worse
with you.
things.
I disagree with you. I don't think you do, and you do it in a comedic style where you'd see in any club, whereas Leafy targets a lot of people that are underage, and it's just solely targeted at one person. I think that is much different than what you do. You take on a broad subject and criticize a multitude of people. This is nothing that we haven't seen on television before. Leafy tends to target individuals. I'm surprised you don't see the difference in that.
Well, I think that's a very good point. I like the way you phrase that. So I'm beginning to side with you on that one. But I think the thing is, I don't know, it's difficult. But what I actually say is not very nice. Is bullying? It can be construed as bullying. Calling people fat. Things like that. Yeah.
You don't think that's protected speech? You don't think that's reasonable? I mean, fat? I mean, of all things?
See, I think it's reasonable because I say it, but I can see why other people don't.
I can see why other people would too, but what does that matter? I really don't think that your speech should be stifled because somebody might somewhere out there take this so deeply where it might affect them. I just think...
believe me, I don't think so either. I totally believe in free speech, and I should be able to say pretty much whatever the fuck I want.
I think if you made 12 videos on the same guy and just kept it going and constantly hit him, that we already have harassment laws. The UK, the United States, Australia, the whole Western world already has harassment laws in place, and this is something for the police to take up. One video that you made on, the only two single targets I could see was obviously, or as far as YouTubers went, was TJ, who would never, ever, considering he's such a free speech advocate, criticize your work in that matter. Yes. And from what you told me, he liked it. And Lions Maker, which honestly, if those videos aren't out, the information's not getting out who Lion Maker is. I find this weird. And I think the reason it's so vague is because it's going to be enforced selectively, and I'm almost willing to make a bet with you, Colossal. The first guy that goes down won't be the drama alerts. It won't be those. I think there's an election coming up in the United States, and I think we're going to see something very different. But
right, well, let's make a bet. Well, let's genuinely make a bet of it.
Sure.
$20. $20.
What about euros? Because I live in Germany.
All right, yeah, of course.
20 euros. What is that? What is that? Like 15 pounds?
Yeah, 20 euros. 20 euros. I want to bet recently.
Sure. So the first guy to find
20 euros.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll make a bet.
20 euros. You heard it right here. I don't hedge, or what do they call that when you go back in your backs? Let's see. I'm gonna check. I want to ask you. Let's see. I'm gonna ask you. 2 quick questions, and I want very short answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Favorite video
I'll
game
try.
favorite video game of all time?
It's a game called Kingdom of Magic. You will never have heard of it.
Oh, really? Now I want to hear of it.
Kingdom of Magic.
Okay, I got a political question for you, and already the last one. In or out, Brexit?
Too hard. I'm
Really?
too fucking hard.
Ah, come
It's
on,
too
man!
hard.
It's like it's binary.
It's impossible. It's an impossible fucking question.
I got an answer.
I'll tell you the backstory about it. Sorry, it's not going to be a quick answer.
Okay.
But how is that a quick answer? Right. Okay. My father, because I was speaking to him about this the other day, and he is voting out. He has always wanted to vote out since this whole shit started. And he said, Oliver, by the way, this is my real name, Oliver, so the secret is out.
I already knew what your name was because that's every good English boy's name. But go ahead.
He said, Oliver, vote out. I was like, why? And he gave off this whole spiel. And then right at the end of the spiel, he said, I'm probably going to be wrong. I was like, what? Why are you voting out then? I was like, well, it's just that the fucking politicians have lied to us and fucking misled us and have hyped things up, used scare tactics. So honestly, I think anybody who's been listening to these fucking politicians is like, I don't fucking know. Who's telling the truth? Who isn't telling the truth? It's been totally, if there was any kind of semblance of, general thought, these politicians have completely watered it down, have completely poisoned that. So I don't know what the fuck I'm going to vote for, to be honest.
Would you vote for me if I asked you and I could give you a really good reason why? Would you vote for me? Would you why? All right. I live here in Europe. I have 2 children. Currently, Jean-Paul Juncker, the head of the European Commission, who is not an elected official, he has no democratic mandate, is currently trying to raise an army here in Europe. That army will fall under politicians that have no democratic mandate. I do not want my child in that fucking army. And now I do realize that there will be some economic penalties that England will face. I do think they will recover from it. They're a first world nation. They have the strongest currency in the world. But for my family, would you vote out? Because I don't want to be forced to move to keep my child from being drafted.
Well, this is an easy decision for me then. I'm going to vote out because I'll vote for you.
I got it. Oh, cool. I so wanted somebody. I've been trying to talk every Brit I know to do it.
You got to vote for me.
Yeah, I got to vote for me. Oh, thank you. And you're talking about a pro-military person, but I don't want to serve. My commander-in-chief had a democratic mandate. These people will not, and they can put this army in without going to the German people, without going to the Danish people, without going to the English people, and that scares me like hell. Being an American, it looks like the beginning of another disaster in Europe, and I can split. Right, but not everybody can split. Not everybody has that option. All right, we're coming to the end. Would you like to take a phone call? They're usually pretty wild. And then I think we can end it. I think, unless you wanted to keep going for any other reason.
No, let's take a couple of phone calls.
Let's take a couple of phone calls. I do not screen them because I have no ability to screen them. And I'll that goddamn professional. I get them in the middle of a broadcast. 718-395-7660, 718-395-7660. Brooklyn, New York, or Skype is for free. Add me to contacts and hit Shot from the Point. I will put you on for it with Colossal is Crazy. Daniel says move to Scotland. You're still in the EU. You could so and just to keep it going, you have to add me to contacts, and I will take your contact ad at random. Otherwise, I cannot add you to this call. So you have to add me to contacts first. So let's get to it. I'm getting a bunch of people trying to call like hell, and I think I got somebody here. We'll add them to group call. Sincast.
Oh, fucking hell, I know him. He's a friend of mine.
He isn't quite through
yet. He's gonna ask me something completely inappropriate.
You're on the line with Colossal Crazy. Would you not ask him something inappropriate?
Colossal, can you vote to stay in the EU? Because, Euro Shopper energy drinks, if we vote out of the EU... Oh, fuck. We're going to lose the Euro Shopper. We're going to lose them all.
You know,
Monkey in a tree.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something for you, Colossal. This is something I learned from the shock jocks in America. Have a nice day.
Monkey in a tree.
For some reason, I can't get rid of you. I don't know. There you go. Now you're gone. Let's take some. Let's take some other ones. Let's take some one of my old times. Kevin Snooza, the great snoozer, the Portuguese Boston Giant. What's on your mind? Ask Colossal one question and do not drone on.
One question, so I don't have to make him fall asleep.
Yes, one question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Whatever made you want to exaggerate your voice?
I think it just makes it slightly more entertaining. I think my normal voice just, didn't give that dynamic feel to the videos. And so I just exaggerated a very tiny bit. But it's just enough to get that video more entertaining.
All right. All right.
It works.
So, it does. Do you like? I mean, I also feel like Colossal is a little more to older groups, but you're a young man. You like Colossal?
Yeah. I just recently started watching him, so if YouTube decides to screw everyone up, take his channel down because of the terms of service, then I'm gonna boycott YouTube by deleting the app. Take that, YouTube.
Good plan.
Have a good take care. One of the many old time Shop on the Point fans. Let's put some phone numbers on. My favorite part is the calls. I'll be honest with you. 216. You're on. 219. You're on the air. 219. Going once. You're on with Colossal. You're on with the Colossal. The clown.
Yes, I have a question. Do you think that what if one day YouTube will just, fall and another bigger, what's it called, like a social media service will go
Sure.
up? Do you think that will ever happen?
Yeah, I think there's definitely potential for that. I mean, we'll look at the streaming sites, right? Twitch is doing very well. All these streaming sites are doing particularly well. So I think there's potential for it to move there. At the moment, there's no competition for YouTube, but obviously there is potential for it in the future, I reckon.
Okay, thank you very much for your call, 219. Anybody else? 718-395-7660, or Skype is for free, Scott from the Point. And add me to contacts, don't be a dope. How about that? And I'm sure we'll get something really, really soon. Of course, I'll take another phone call. These guys are actually paying for the call. I feel a little more obligated to take them. 920, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello, you're on with Colossal is Crazy.
Yeah, I'm shit. You added me on Twitter, by the way. I just found out Colossal is crazy. He does this weird things calling people pig on Twitter.
Yeah.
With
yes.
At the end. I don't know what that is, but that made me start watching them. So that's what I gotta say.
Okay, that's brilliant.
I think that's... Okay.
Oh no, they can still hear you. You're on the delay.
I thought it was a question or something. I
didn't think so. I didn't think it was much of anything. Black Wolf, is this your hero, Black Wolf? Because we talked.
I've got one question for Colossal. What do you think about Grade A's latest video?
I was dreading this question, to be honest.
I thought you would.
Grade is a friend of mine, so I don't want to say anything that will go against him. I've told him in confidence what I feel about it, and I will say this much: some of the things he said positive, and some of the things negative, in my opinion. And,
I agree.
But basically, I certainly wouldn't say it was a perfect video by a long shot.
Black Wolf, how did you feel about the video?
I think he was kind of a hypocrite at some points. He said Keemstar was a bully in text, and then straight after it was saying, taking the piss out of his dyslexia. It was taking the piss out of him being a retarded rat or whatever. But that's my opinion.
Fair enough.
I'm not too sure on him because I actually do like watching Grade A.
I think he might be the most talented guy next to this guy, and I mean that on YouTube.
He's a great guy. He's a great person. Very entertaining. Sorry, I'm sucking his dick.
Oh,
but
don't worry,
yes,
don't worry, don't worry, because I'm not going to.
I think he made at least one mistake in that video.
I think
I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but he did make it.
Grade is a mega.
We all make mistakes.
Well, I'm going to say something negative. I think Grade made a fool of himself. Yes, the video was brilliantly put together and it was really funny, but the hypocrisy in that video, complaining about somebody's character over and over and over again, and having that same relationship with that person for so long as if they just found this stuff out yesterday. I think it says everything about Grade A under A in that one video, and I think it says more about him than it does about Keemstar. Have a good day, Black Wolf. And that's what you're going to get on the Baited podcast.
Hopefully not that question again.
I don't know how we address the Baited podcast. So we just continue to tease it or walk away from it completely?
I kind of think we should not talk about it as much for now.
I think that's a good idea.
But the thing is, I mean, as far as everyone else is concerned, you know, it's still going me, you, and Keemstar, and I'm doing it for fun. I'm not doing it because I love Keemstar. He didn't pay me $1 million fucking to be on it or to do anything. He's not paid me anything. You know, I'm doing it for fucking fun. So look at my fucking Twitter.
He paid me. Shit. I'm doing it for money. I'm selling out. I'm selling out. I'm giving every.
Well, you can do it for fucking money.
I'm selling out. I don't give a fuck. Hear that? David is gaming. I'm selling out. That was my whole bit. I guess you didn't watch my last video, did you?
It was. I saw some of it. I think it was quite long.
You thought it was what? You thought it was what?
It was long. It was long.
Oh, I don't do videos, man. I do live broadcasts like I do now. I figure like radio, you know? I don't know. See, like I know, like, yeah, just do your movie in 10 minutes and what have you. I'm a radio guy more than I'm a YouTuber.
See, I work in that time frame, you know, just like gotta cut those videos down so it's like point after point after point. I do listen to podcasts though. Like the Jarcast is probably one of the only very few podcast channels on YouTube. Obviously there is the Drunken Peasants, but as I said in the video, I find them fucking boring. But you know, the Jarcast is a very good podcast, and I like listening to that. But it's so long; they are long, you know, and I just have it on in the background type thing. Doing something else, you get sidetracked. You know, I'm not a woman; I can't multitask. So,
no, neither can I. Neither can I. Even though I'm actually a stay-at-home dad, I have video. I kind of wish I could grow a pair of tits, you know, and things would be a lot easier. I think we should get the hell out of here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's been a good call, to be honest.
I think it's great. Well,
I enjoyed doing it.
What are you drinking?
I enjoyed doing it. I don't think I made a complete dick of myself, but you know,
I think you're great, and it was great, and it doesn't really matter because I'm selling out, and you got like 300 people in there. So what do I care? Because I'm selling out. Give me your money. Give me your money. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna play a commercial in the thing right now. That's what a dick I am. Here you go.
There you go. Go for it.
But I wanted to thank you sincerely for being not only for helping this channel immensely,
no problem.
But I really, really look forward to. You're an interesting cat, and I think what people, I don't know, maybe they're getting a vibe of that now. I think me and you are gonna clash, like adults.
Oh yeah,
like adults.
I think we're gonna fucking have some huge arguments at some point.
But I kind of got over you on I kind of got over you on the Brexit thing. You got to admit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're right, you're right.
Oh well.
And,
see, then we won't. Then we won't clash.
We can say this about the podcast. If you're right, I will say you're right. I've got no problem admitting being wrong.
That means we
won't.
But
I don't like it, and I will try hard to defend my point. But when I'm wrong, I'm fucking wrong. Right?
Well, then we won't fight because that means you're an honest man, and I don't fight with honest men. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Colossal is crazy. Oh wow, I got your name right. Yeah, real professional job on my part. I'll see you guys soon. If you'd like to check out our other podcast, you can go check it out. It's Shot from the Point Day is Monday through Friday, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. We do a podcast, hockey, and a bunch of dude bros that drink too much beer and get yelled at their wives. And on Sunday, of course, we have the great Shot from the Point Live, a full hour podcast. And we'll see you guys really, really soon. Thank you so much for being here. Good night.